Hello and welcome to another Stamp with Amy Kate YouTube Live. And today I'm going to, of course, wiggle the screen around just a little bit, trying to get everything straightened out and in the right place. So hopefully you can see the video pretty well. But today I'm going to show you how I made a card with the cute little all zipped up stamp set bundle from Stampin' Up. This is one of the newer bundles that will be available to order starting on the 4th of March, which is Tuesday. So just a couple days from now. You'll be able to order this cute little stamp set bundle, and it's sort of, I don't know, a little reminiscent of the members only jacket. If you knew anybody that had one of those, when, it's kind of like a 1980s-ish feel to it. When I looked at it, that was the first thing I thought of when I saw this bundle. But it's still cute, and I had fun playing with it. I made kind of a girly jacket with it this time, but I may try to do it with, we've got some papers that have got shades of blues and browns and whatever, so I may try to do one that's a little bit more boy-leaning at some point too. But today I pulled out some of the pretty paper and made a florally looking jacket. So hey, Sally and Judy and Karen and Mary and Barbara and Carol, Roxanne, Pam, Laura, Daryl, everybody, thanks for hopping in. I see Gina Marie's here as well. So this is it. It's, like I said, just a fun little card. It's fairly quick and easy. The only thing that is a little fiddly is kind of figuring out this V section of it. And as I play with the die set more, I may come up with some better ideas on how to get the layering done correctly on here. But I'll show you what I did for this card. And then if I come up with any better plans for the next one around, we'll show you what we do then. So, oh, thanks, Karen. I'm glad you're liking it. Like I said, to me, the stamp sets kind of got that 1980s vibe, and I was kind of in, back in school and a kid back then, so that's kind of what it reminded me of. So that's why I grabbed it. I thought it was cute. So, hey, Kathy and Danette and Marilyn, thanks for joining. All right, so this is the stamp set. It is a cling mount, so it's the red rubber stamp set. It's got a birthday sentiment, congratulations, and then there's a zipping by to say hello. But when I did my stamping today, I kind of chopped the hello off the end of it when I was inking it. And then there's just hoping your day is the best ever, which is a good inside sentiment for most cards, birthdays and congratulations and that sort of thing. So, and then there are some cute little accessory images that have dies that coordinate with them. And there's a stripe here, which there's a sample card. You'll see it when it goes live for ordering, for those of you that are not demonstrators. The Stampin' Up! Actually used this, and they stamped it like multiple times across a piece of paper, and they used it with the pocket dies. So they made little striped pockets, which is really cute, and that's kind of where the idea came from for the stripes on my pockets, only I was lazy and just used designer series paper. So, all right. So this is the die set. And again, your open dies are the ones that are going to coordinate with your stamped images. And then there's the little, what I call the V part of the zipper, which is the upper part of the zipper, lower part of the zipper. And then these are kind of wide V's, and that is what makes the white edging on here, well, I've die cut it white, edging on there. And then there are two different options for zipper pulls. So there's this one that I've used, and then there's this one that looks a little bit more, I don't know, more squarish, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, that's about it. So again, it's a fun little die set, fun stamp set, and I'll show you how I used it today. All right, a couple things before we get going. First, Celebration is ending today, which is the 28th of February, Friday. If you're watching this video on Saturday morning, you've missed it. So hopefully y'all will hop on and get your last orders placed during Celebration and get those free items. There are some new ones that are outside the Celebration brochure that Stampin' Up! Has put out for the month of February, some additional $60 level items you can pick from. So orders of $60 or greater, you get to start picking some free items from Stampin' Up! So make sure you're getting your orders put in today, getting those closed out so that you don't miss out on getting any of the free goodies. And then online exclusives, which is actually what this bundle is from. It's from the upcoming March 4th online exclusives. So you can't get it quite yet. Demonstrators can, but customers will be able to order it starting on the 4th of March, which is Tuesday. So this is a small sampling of the current online exclusives. This is a small sampling of some of the upcoming online exclusives. And just make sure that anytime you're out there shopping in the Stampin' Up! Store, just go to stampinup.com and then click on the little menu button on the upper left and then click on online exclusives. And you will see these are a whole bunch of items out there that are not in any catalog. They're not tied to any catalog ending time frames, so they come and go sort of as kind of just whenever. So if there are items out there that you're wanting, go ahead and grab them now so that you don't miss out on getting them. And again, like I said, there's a new batch that will be coming out on the 4th of March. All right, so thanks. I see a couple more people have hopped in. Sandra's here, Judy, Cindy, Deborah. Thanks everybody for joining. All right, so I have got a Summer Splash card base, and this one is cut to 4 1/4 by 11 and scored at 5 1/2 here. I think I scored it at 5 1/2. For some reason, it looks shorter on the one side. 5 1/2 across the middle. This is one of those card bases that are cards that you could actually use with a standard card base. So if you prefer the 8 1/2 by 5 1/2 and scored at 4 1/4 down the side, you could certainly do that with this card. I just prefer the top fold ones, and I happen to have a top fold card base cut and ready to go. So that is what I'm using today. Got a little bit of liquid glue here, and we are going to be adhering a piece of the Unbounded Love Designer Series paper, which is one of the papers from the current annual catalog. And it's got the in colors in it. It's pretty much all the in colors from the 2024 to 26 group. So Summer Splash is sort of the backgroundy color on this panel. So adhere that to the card front with a little bit of the liquid glue, and it's cut to card front size, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Measurements for all this will be out on my blog tomorrow, as well as a PDF tutorial showing you how I made everything. So don't worry about trying to get everything figured out, sizes and all that stuff just yet. Okay, this is another piece of the Unbounded Beauty, Designer Series paper. And this is the part that I'm going to use as like the shirt underneath my die cut. This is the part where I'm sure there's got to be a better way to do it, but I just couldn't come up with anything. So this is what I did. I took the little V part of the zipper and I placed it on, which of course, did I bring this? Let me get a pencil. I did not grab one. Thankfully, I had one fairly close. So I put the little V part of the zipper on the Designer Series paper. Obviously, I don't need to trace this side because I can see where that's at, but I'm going to scooch it over just a little. And I just did a trace around the image with the pencil. Then, knowing that this is going to be a little bit wider than what I actually need to have it cut, I basically just took my paper snips and hacked it a little bit inside my pencil line. Then I'm going to look at it and just make sure that it's going to fit inside the V, which it is, my die cut V. And that's how I made the shirt. There probably, like I said, there's probably a better, more efficient way to do this. And sometime down the road, I may get it figured out. But for some reason, this is what was easiest to me. I'd thought about trying to die cut it with this, but then I was afraid. I thought about actually trying to die cut the background panel, but then I was afraid, what if something didn't get cut straight or centered? Then I'd be in trouble with that. And then I thought about cutting this paper with the die cut, but then I thought, well, then you have to get these all lined up perfectly well. So that's when I came up with, why don't I just trace it and chop it and make it be easy, since it's all going to be covered up anyway. So again, there are probably easier ways. That's just how I came up with to do it for this time around. I'm going to use a little Stampin' Seal here, and we're just going to stick this to the card front. And it doesn't need to be super duper secured every square inch of it because we're going to have lots of layers put over the top of it. So I want to get this kind of roughly centered here on my grid paper, which you probably can't see the bottom of the grid paper, so I should probably slide it up just a hair. All right. There you can see it. And again, the dark line in the center here is roughly the center of my card base. So again, it's probably not going to be perfectly, precisely, exactly centered, but that gives me at least a point to aim for as I'm centering this. And it doesn't need to be perfectly centered because again, the layers that are going to go over the top of it are wider than what this is. So if you get it a little off center, no worries. All right, so stuck that down with a little bit of Stampin' Seal. The next part, I wanted to actually show you how I did this because it's not tricky. It's just a little different how the zipper dies work. So this is a piece of silver foil sheets, and it is cut to about 2.5 inches wide by 6 inches-ish. I don't know, I think that's about 6 inches. So I started by cutting the little Y die first, if that makes sense here. And we're going to slide this up to the top, and basically I'm going to cut it here, kind of in the center of it. And at the same time, I'm also going to cut my little zipper pole, and we're just going to cut it out of here. So I'm going to go off screen for a second and run this through my die cutting machine, and then I'll come back on and show you the next step. All right. All right. So that is how I had the first part. That's how the first part of it cut. So let's get our little zipper pull pulled out of there in the center here. Get that off, and you can see my chewed up cutting mat underneath there. I use mine until they break. I don't know. They lay down flatter. I think the more I use them, the easier they are to lay down flat. Now, what you'll see with this die cut is that it doesn't actually cut at the bottom or at the top. So there's no sharp spot here or here. So that's why I kind of started with it up towards the top, so that I knew that it would cut off at the top, and then the rest of it's still attached in the paper. So the next thing I did was I grabbed my die set again here, and I grabbed the long zipper part. And then I just took the long zipper part and basically lined it up over the other zipper. And you can kind of feel there's, as you can see, the little squigglies are cut into the paper here. So when you take this, you're just going to flip it over and kind of roughly line it up. And then you can feel when the little, I don't know, groovy parts are connected, you'll kind of feel that it's not like locked in there forever, but it definitely is. You can feel that it's in the right groove. So then you're going to take that and you're going to put it on your little cutting mat. And we're going to grab a little bit of Post-it note tape to make sure that that stays in place where I want it to be. Whoop, I better move that down just a hair. And we'll probably put another piece on the other side here to hold it securely. And then we're going to run it through the die cutting machine and cut the rest of the zipper. So hang on one second and I'll bring it right back. So that is what you get after you cut it with the second part. So everything is all connected together. Again, you could do this in two pieces because most of it is going to be hidden anyway, if that's easier for you. But I just thought it was just as easy to get the two pieces all connected into one and cut it basically so that it's all one solid piece. It's a little easier for adhering it to the card front if you do that. All right, so back over to my card front. I'm going to take this and we're going to roughly lay it over my little die cut shirt, or my little snipped up shirt that I've got underneath it. And I knew that I had it longer than what the card front needed to be, and that's perfectly fine. We're just going to snip it off at the bottom once we get everything laid on here and glued down. All right, so let's flip it back over here, and we will get a little bit of liquid glue. Did I also, oh no, there's my liquid glue. I'm like, where did my liquid glue? Oh, I threw it in another spot. Okay, and you all know that I'm not a big liquid glue fan, but I could have probably used adhesive sheets on this, but I don't know. Liquid glue felt like it was a little easier to me because it's a fairly wide band that you're gluing on. All right, I'm gonna flip it over here, try to line it up at the top and adhere it down. Get my little clippy clip out of the way. And then again, roughly centering it, making sure that it's stuck down here with the liquid glue and giving it a second to adhere. All right, phew, zipper's done. All right, next up, I did do some of the die cutting ahead of time just because these are pretty mundane little pieces and they didn't really require much explanation other than which die I used. So these two kind of long, skinny, like wide V's cut the, oh, I don't know all the sewing terms. I'm sure there's something, cut the piece that like covers the edge of the zipper. I'm sure there's probably an appropriate sewing term for it, but I don't know what it is. So cut two of these in whatever coordinating color. White happened to be a color that coordinated with the paper that I was using. So that is why I've cut them in white. And here's my little tweezers. And we're going to grab a little bit of liquid glue again. And we're just going to adhere add a little bit of liquid glue to these little covering edge pieces, whatever you want to call them. Seamstresses out there, I'm sure, are rolling their eyes and saying, my goodness. But no, I don't know. I don't remember what the name of those are. I probably should, but I don't know. And then we're just going to line it up, make sure that I don't glue my fingers to the card, first of all, and that we are make sure that we're overhanging the top just a little bit so we don't have any, it's not hanging at the wrong angle up here. So it's okay that it's over the top a little bit. That's sort of what you want with it. And then it's going to overhang at the bottom as well. All right, we're going to do the same thing on the flip side of it. There we go. And put this down on here. And again, just making sure that it's covering up beyond the top of it, making sure that we've got a fair amount of the zipper covered up, because that's kind of how zippers look to me anyways, that most of them are covered with whatever this little accessory piece is. And then we're just going to make sure that it's stuck down well here with your liquid glue. All right. I'm just going to put my tweezers inside the cap of the glue. That is not going to work very well. All right, so that is the hardest part of the card. and that's pretty easy, actually. So I'm going to go ahead and flip it over and snip off this part. When I fold the card closed, I will snip off the very top part. Hopefully I won't forget to do that. I don't think I will, because it's going to look a little weird there at the top. So those are just your little extra pieces, and there your zipper is, even with the edge of your card. The next thing that I did was I took, again, another piece of the Unbounded Beauty Designer Series paper, and there are two little pocket dies, which is this die and this die, and I just ran them through the die cutting machine. One thing that I tried to do, because this is striped paper, is I tried to get them so that they were lined up kind of side by side on the stripes. Now, I know the stripes are varying widths in this paper, and they don't need to be perfectly lined up, but if you have something where the pattern makes sense to line it up, just make sure that you put your dies down, side by side on the paper, so that you don't have it cut, having one going this way and one going that way or whatever, and you got stripes and they look all sorts of crazy. So, all right, put those dies back down. So those are the dies that I used. Because I am going to be tucking some little die cuts in the pockets, I do need to be a little bit careful where I put my adhesive on here. So I put the adhesive kind of on the L part of the pocket, so along the two edges, but I did not put any around here where I'm going to be tucking the flowers in. And then we stuck the little pockets to the front of the jacket. Same thing on the other side. And if you prefer liquid glue, you can certainly use liquid glue. I just try not to, because as you saw a second ago, liquid glue is not always my best friend, and I did kind of glue my fingers to the card front for just a second when I was putting the zipper on. So there. All right, so we got our little pockets put on, super quick and easy, and they're cute too. And I almost forgot my zipper pull that I had cut earlier. I had set that aside so I didn't get it mixed in with anything else, but here's the little zipper pull that I had cut when I was cutting the first round of the zipper, and we're going to use a couple of little mini glue dots to adhere that. You can definitely use liquid glue if you want to on this. Just be aware that, again, there are two little slits up here in the upper part of this die cut that if you put too much glue on it, you will end up with glue kind of oozing through those little openings. So just be careful of that. And for whatever reason, anytime I use liquid glue with the foil sheets, somehow I end up with liquid glue all over them, and then they just don't look very pretty all glued up. All right, so we are then going to take our little zipper pull and put that over the top of the spot in the zipper where it's unzipped at, and just using the little glue dots to adhere it down. Next up, we're going to put the little flowers in the pockets. So two of these I did do ahead of time just because it's the same process. And let's get some of this mess out of the way. And I've got another little tiny piece of basic white cardstock here that I'm going to stamp the flower image from the all zipped up stamp set. And I've got Petunia Pop ink, and I'll just ink up the image, stamp it here on the basic white cardstock, and close that up before I stick my fingers in it. And then grab the little coordinating die, which is this flower die. It's not terribly difficult to get it lined up, but I will tell you, I did have to spin it a little bit, just like I'm doing right now, to get it lined up the right way, because there are petals that are, they're just at a little bit of a different angle. So I just had to twist it around a little bit to get it in the right spot. This is the right spot, so I'm gonna go run it through my die cutting machine. All right. So there we go. Put my die back on here, get rid of the mess. And then I'm just going to use the little glue dots again, if I can find them. Here we go. And we're just going to tuck these flowers into the little coat pockets. So we're going to take one and put it up here, kind of towards the top of the pocket on this side. And then another one. Thought I'd stuck a glue dot to my finger, but I did not. All right, and then take another one, tuck it inside that same pocket. And then we'll take the one I just stamped and put it in the other pocket. And I will tell you that Petunia Pop does dry when it gets completely dry, much lighter than what it stamps. So that it looks a little different, but trust me, it will dry to be the same color, so no worries there. All right, and we're just going to take that little flower and tuck it in the other side. And then to finish off the flowers, I've got some of the 24 to 26 in color shimmer gems. And we're just going to take a couple of the Pretty in Pink shimmer gems. For this card, I used the little shimmer gems. So I figured for our card we're making today, we'll use the big ones. Just to see, they don't look a lot different, but the big ones are obviously just a little bit bigger. So you can tell me which one you like better, whether you like the bigger or the little, or whether you really can't even tell. All right. So there we go. So those are the big ones. The big ones probably cover the flower centers a little bit better than the small ones, so you can take your pick on which one you like better. All right, last thing for the card front is we've got sentiments to stamp. And I've got a couple of pieces of basic white cardstock that are plenty long for what I need, and thankfully have two sides because sometimes this is what I need to stamp more than once because I don't get them on very straight. You like the big ones, Roxanne? I think I kind of do too. And originally I thought I was going to like the small ones, but it's all good. So sometimes we change our mind. All right, so I've got the happy birthday sentiment. This is a piece of basic white cardstock that's, I don't know, probably 5 1/4 or so, whatever, maybe 5 1/2. But the main thing is it's 5/8 of an inch wide, and your birthday sentiment will fit nicely on that. And again, I've got Petunia Pop ink, and we're going to stamp the sentiment in. And got to kind of hold my breath and hope that I get it on here relatively straight. Hey, not too bad. I'll take it. All right, so there's the happy birthday. Gonna give that a second to dry while I stamp the other sentiment, and then we'll snip off the edge to make it fit a little bit better on the panels that we've got. This piece of basic white cardstock measures about 1/2 inch wide, so it's a little bit narrower, but Debbie likes the big ones too. All right, so Summer Splash is the ink that we're gonna use for this one. And like I said, I've got the zipping by to say hello is what the full sentiment is, but we're only going to ink the zipping by to say because we've got the happy birthday sentiment already. So I'm going to grab my Post-it note tape and cover up the word hello. And then we're going to ink up the rest of the sentiment with the Summer Splash ink. Close that up, and then don't forget to take your little mask off the sentiment before you stamp it, otherwise you will end up with a nice blob of ink on the paper. Ask me how I know, because I've done it before. All right, so again, just going to take this and we're going to line it up and hope that we get it on here fairly straight. Again, not terrible. We'll take it. All right, so there we go. We got our zipping by and happy birthday. Zipping by to say. I was like, did I just put it? Oh, okay, it does say to say. Had a minute where I thought I'd only stamped half of the half sentiment that I wanted. All right, and we're just going to take paper snips, or if you have a paper trimmer handy and don't want to cut it with the snips, you can use your paper trimmer to just trim off the edge so that it's roughly even on either side. When I get done with it, this measured about 2 1/4 inches, and this one measured about 2 5/8 inches. But again, it just sort of depends on where you stamp it at on your piece of cardstock. Just cut it so that it's centered, or roughly centered. All right, then we're going to grab some Stampin' Dimensionals, and we are going to stick the sentiments on. Now, I do chop my Stampin' Dimensionals in half, so if you like to use the whole ones, you certainly can, or the minis, you can use those too. I just like the little half ones because I think they fit well in most of the places where I use them. So it's up to you how you like your dimensionals, but I like my half ones. All right. peel off the backings on these. And I intentionally did not center my sentiments. I thought about trying to center them, and then I just thought, you know, that's too stressful. And this is kind of a fun little card, so I wanted the sentiments to be kind of fun too. So I sort of put the upper one off to the left a little bit, and then the lower one off to the right a little bit, and then I did not worry about having to get it stuck on there straight or in any particular place. So you can go higher or lower with it, however you want to do it. All right. Inside of the card, I kept pretty simple, just a sentiment and a couple flowers stamped on it and a little strip of designer series paper. So I've got the inside of the sentiment, inside the card sentiment, yeah. Hoping your day is the best ever, and we are going to stamp that in Summer Splash ink on basic white cardstock. And again, just roughly centering it, hoping that it's on there fairly straight, which it looks reasonably straight. And then grab some Petunia Pop ink and the little flower image again. And we're going to stamp a couple flowers here. So we'll do one on the upper right and then one here on the lower left. And then close that up. And then we'll grab, I've got a little piece that I had trimmed away from the card front and didn't want that to go to waste. So it's about a 1/2 inch wide by about 4 1/4 or so long. And we're going to stick that here on the bottom of the basic white panel so that it matches the card front. All right. Oh, I'm glad y'all are liking the card. Like I said, it's a cute little bundle. It's one of those that I wasn't quite sure that I was going to like it, but the more I played with it, the more I liked it. I thought it was really cute and it's fun. And like I said, now I can't wait to make something that's a little more boyish. This is definitely very girly, so I figured I'd have to make one at some point that's, you know, a denim jacket or something like that instead. So, all right, trim off the edge. And then put this on the inside of the card, and then I still need to trim off the little excess on the card front to make it even with the top of the card. And all right, so we got that put in there with a little Stampin' seal. I'm going to grab the bone folder, flip it over, and do the little crease here. Make sure we've got a good solid crease on it. And then just going to trim off the little extra piece here of the basic white cardstock that I had put on the card front. So that is now even. And that's all there is to it. So in my opinion, I thought they were really quick to put together. And I think it's cute. Like I said, originally I looked at it and I'm like, I don't know, is that too kind of retro or 1980s looking? I think it's cute. So I would definitely encourage you to get it. Grab this bundle starting on the 4th of March. It'll be available for everyone to order. It's available right now for demonstrators to pre-order. If you join today, if you're not currently a demonstrator but join today, you can actually still pick up the Celebration Awesome deal. Get either the 2 extra marker packs and stamp set in your, look, I've got foil sheet stuck on me, in your starter kit, or you can get $30 additional dollars of free merchandise in your starter kit if you join during Celebration. So, and then you can add this awesome little bundle as part of your starter kit, or you can get your starter kit and then come back and purchase the bundle and get yourself a 20% discount on it as a demonstrator. So let me know if you have questions about anything. Again, all the details will be posted on my blog tomorrow, which is stampwithamyk.com. I'll have a printable PDF tutorial, measurements, cardstock cuts, all that good stuff will be out on the blog tomorrow, as well as in the PDF tutorial. And I will link up to that tutorial as soon as it goes live around 8 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. So I will plan to see you all again for a live around 2 o'clock Eastern time next week, Tuesday, and then again around 2 o'clock Eastern time next week, Friday. So till then, have a great time. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of your day. If you're in New Jersey area, enjoy the sunshine. Yay, the snow is almost gone. And it's almost warm enough to go out without a jacket, at least for a minute or two. So, all right, have a good weekend, everybody, and we will chat with y'all later.